day 20 of Blue-White Approach. Not really changed much today, but the 40s in the main deck are probably not going to be in it much longer. It's probably the last day the 40s are going to be in the main deck. Unless they really overperform. The main reason they've not already moved to the side is, quite frankly, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to take them out over. Anyway, this hand's obviously pretty weak. We have the old 5 lands. Our opponent leads on basic island, so the one spell we have is pretty irrelevant. That's going to happen when you have a deck that's so designed on beating creatures, though. Like, this deck is just really, really tuned to, like, winning creature combat. Or to beat creatures that are trying to win in combat, rather. We've drawn a few good ones off the top, though. Hopefully before we make a decision on using the wheel or not, he'll show us the second color. If it's blue-red, we may not use the wheel. Alright. Could be a number of things. We'll have to see. Pretty much just want draw 2s with this. Would also keep an approach. Don't like him casting Censor on that at all. Maybe if he has a Dispel as well, it's okay. We'll put that on top mostly just because I don't want to get rid of it. It's a little of a weak card to put on top, but we don't want to miss our land drops to begin with, and this card is actually relevant in this match. Now that we see that he's definitely approached, we don't want the other Rivulet, and we're a little sad that we kept the first one. We'll also cycle this first cast out now. Not even going to look for a Censor. Not that Censor would counterspell that anyway, but I would let him resolve any card draw spell he wanted. By the way, viewers, are you getting bored of this deck? Is there another deck you'd like to see? Well, 20 days is pretty deep to be playing a particular deck. Well, we cast a first approach, so that means the next approach we draw is technically lethal, so if he even taps out this turn, he could die. Which is a great, great thing. He has no fear of it whatsoever. Couldn't punish him, which is unfortunate. He's probably supposed to do that anyway. Well, and we just lose. So one of the reasons this mirror match is kind of miserable. That card's bad, that card's bad. Oops. These cards are all bad. And these cards are all bad, but you're going to have to leave some Fumigates in just to try to beat their creatures. Generally, I like to bring all 4 cats in, which leaves us with 3 spots. We would like them to be more relevant spells, but it's about the best we can do. Hey, thanks for the auto host, Eric. I know I read on Twitter that your internet was out today, so you probably can't hear me. But that sucks. I hope it comes back soon. Gotta have something to watch for when my stream turns off. We have a reasonable hand. This little cat that puts a decent amount of pressure on if it resolves. We have an approach and we have a bunch of lands for now. See, we ended yesterday's stream losing to the mirror. Be fitting to start today's stream. I got another host from Total. It's been playing some green-white ramp. Our buddy Boot's playing some green-white ramp as well. Guess we take the Glimmer here. Get rewarded with another Glimmer. Well, we played 2 card draw spells and our opponent has played 0, yet he's keeping up with us on lands and probably will have a counter spell for this. Still not a fan of counterspelling the card draw spells in this match. It just goes so long. You're typically discarding cards anyway. Just don't think what he does accomplishes anything at all. Sure, you get some guy who's mana screwed occasionally, but just don't think it's worth it. I'd like to have had a white mana on that turn, but it is what it is. That's a good card, kind of. I mean, it's so awkward. People have talked me into sideboarding this card specifically for matches like this, but it's so weird because, like, if I play this on turn 7, then this is 8 and 9 at the best case scenario. And if they just have their own on turn 7 and turn 8, they win. If I play this on turn 7 and this on turn 8, like, I can still just die. Like, having a 7 mana sorcery that doesn't win the game just feels really bad to me. But what do I know? And casting the cat's just not as good as playing a Glimmer. Getting the 7th mana is way too important. Casting a cat on 5's fine. Casting a cat on 6 doesn't feel like it does anything. That doesn't feel like it does anything. well, we'll put the cat on the bottom, put the island on top, and then we'll cycle the other sensor. And we're just going to play an approach. We don't care if it gets counterspelled. The first one getting counterspelled is not that bad. We have this little Sphinx that we get to try to cast on the next turn if he doesn't have an approach, and if he does have an approach, we probably still have to try to cast the Sphinx. Casting the Sphinx may have been better in that spot because now, like, we die to dispel the other way. We die to approach, dispel the other way. But realistically, I think I'm willing to lose any game when they have approach, dispel, as it is. Well, we drew our approach this time. And as I've stated, this mirror match is just miserable. What's up, Dumbo? I was watching you. I know I didn't chat any because I was having me some delicious chili, but I was watching you golf earlier. Game looks pretty fun. You said it costs like $30 though, right? Hey, Strange Snow. Every time I see the word snow now, I think of Game of Thrones and Bastards. I apologize, but that's what goes through my mind when I see the word snow now. Looks like it's a really well made game though. That card on turn 2 seems really good. But it doesn't seem good at any other point really. If he's cycling main phase, he's probably missing a land drop. He's cycling a draw 2. He's definitely missing a land drop. Unless he hit it off the draw 2. Alright. Well, three of these, he's probably going to hit his land. Oh, did not hit his land. We got lands for him for days if he wants some. Wonder if he wants our Fumigate. If he's missing lands that badly, I wonder if it's worth negating his first draw spell. Probably not. But his hand has to be loaded if he's missing land drops. He could have a dispel, that's fine. I'm not really worried about losing one of our card draw spells. We have 2 more. And we're not really worried about him resolving anything on 5 that we can't deal with. It's taking a while to play a land, so he may be... Oh, never mind. I guess he was deciding whether he was going to cycle it or not. It's a mirror match, 1-1 so far, both of us. On game 1, he had turn 7, turn 8 approach. Game 2, we had turn 7, turn 8 approach, so... He's already on 7 mana for an approach. Huh, well, he didn't have the approach at least. So Gravstones, I don't know if I'm a fan of them. Did jump him out to a fairly good lead in this match, but I just don't think they're good versus any other deck. Especially main deck. Like, you give all your teamer opponents, all your red deck wins opponents, things to do with their Abrades. Doesn't seem like where I want to be ever. One of the powers of this deck is how many dead cards it gives your opponent. So, like, giving your opponents non-dead cards seem bad. I really, I have not tried the Essence Scatters, and I really like the Meltdowns. I must be the only person on the planet, but I absolutely love the Meltdowns. Eh. Can't do a whole lot about this. Just try to get one of them out of his deck, because he can get to it so easily. But if he has two of them, we're dead, and there's nothing we can really do about it. Matches like this make me wish I had the fourth negate, or sorry, the fourth whatever you call it. The fourth approach. So you put bottom, top. So that's one card for his turn. One card went to the bottom, then two more cards went to the bottom. So that's 4 cards. So technically we get his approach if we use a Rivulet here. Don't know how important anything like that is. Killing one of my lands when we're this far behind on lands seems pretty bad. Seems like it seems like our best option though. Cause like, we couldn't counterspell it, so. Hopefully it just takes him a while to get to the next approach. He has more counterspells than I do. And more everything than I do. Which is going to make this very hard, I think. Don't want either of these. Certainly don't want you. Don't really want either of those either. There's another approach. And it's the one that he knows about. Kind of just want to slam it and get Supreme Willed and not care. He's only played one Supreme Will and he's got 4 cards in hand. He didn't make me mill it with that. Problem is, I'm just so far behind that I don't know if it matters. So far behind in mana and everything that I just don't know if it matters. I'd rather just get a counterspell out of his hand, I think. There's some chance that he has nothing. And I don't really care if he gets counterspelled. If he draws the second approach, he was going to win, so. Like, even if he uses a Supreme Will, like that's an impulse or whatever that he doesn't have anymore. Hmm. I don't think this game's coming down to a cat, so I'm not going to bother to play it. Just going to try to find more approaches. Let's not miss the land drop this game, I don't think, except for the one. So start with this. Where our hand went from bad to usable. Because that happens when you draw 45 cards in a turn. And still not great, it's just usable. Feel pretty decent if we get out of this turn alive. Sure, they can have that. Glimmer. Cast. Don't believe we want either of these. Some point we may regret not just trying to go to Kitty Cat Town on them. But we're not at that point yet, so. Opponent's going through two of his approaches already as well. Like, so there's some chance that he only even has one more in his deck. Sure, don't care about this guy at all. Wouldn't mind another Rivulet, though. He's only showed us one cast out so far, so I'm assuming he's got a bunch more. Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3. That's one cast out. Or sorry, that's one Supreme Will. That's two Supreme Wills. That's one of this guy, so I don't even have time to play the Gideon. Alright, we'll put the Gideon on the bottom then. There's another approach. At some point we may try to resolve that approach. probably after the 7 mana Sphinx if we do try it. Which we should be coming up to pretty quickly. Not you. Another Rivulet. Ooh, he's sacking a land. Thinking about scrying for one anyway, because we can only play 1, 2, 4 of our spells, so we can't even play the other one till we get 3 more draws. That seems pretty narrow. Would take a Negate or a Sphinx. I can't think of any other card that I would want here. Well, we know he at least has Blessed Alliances in his deck. So it could be some number of those. There's another approach, but I still don't think it's worth it. I like having enough mana to play all 4 of the counterspells in our hand. Even though the Supreme Wills themselves don't actually do a lot here. They might tap our opponent out, but that's about it. Really want to find our Sphinx pretty quickly. Well, he's not drawn his other approach yet, so we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we actually have a land we don't need. Go ahead and see if we can get lucky. Hey, we had another approach. So if he only has 3, we win. He didn't concede, so I'm going to assume he has more than 3. We have 1 Sphinx of the Final Word in the deck at the moment. Get rid of Fumigate. Oh, he's milling us? Sure. Get rid of Cat. He hit my Sphinx of the Final Word, so that puts us in a little bit more of a vicarious position. Alright, well we can't win now. Our opponent hit 2 Rivulets, so we have to be able to resolve one of ours. We have to be able to resolve one of our approaches, and we have exactly 2 turns to do it. Can we draw our other Rivulet? There's 1 Rivulet. Nope. That's the last Rivulet we have in our deck. So he mills us before we can mill him. You see, like James writes, it's unlikely he can win when I don't think we can win. I'm pretty sure we're close to locked out of this game. Like, if we don't resolve an approach, we lose. And we've only got 2 counterspells to protect an approach, so resolving an approach doesn't seem something that's very likely to happen. Yes, that takes my approach off the stack. I realize that, but my approach was counterspelled anyway. So I was trying to bait a counterspell out of him, and we got the counterspell out of him. Like, I know casting the summary dismissal doesn't do anything in that spot. Luckily, our opponent didn't know. I guess as the spell didn't matter anyway, because we don't have another instant that he needs to use on it. But yeah, well, if he has a negate, we lose. He's got 15 mana, so even casting all 3 of these doesn't do anything. I mean, these don't do anything at all, right? I guess leaving my mana up lets me pay for 2 Supreme Wills. He had negate. So we have no out. Oh, he's got 9 mana. Oh well, we're dead. I was thinking about using the Rivulet there, and apparently it seems like it would have paid off, but then we just lose. If we use the Rivulet, we just lose the 2 Supreme Wills, and he only had the 2 in his graveyard, so like, between his hand and the last 4 cards, or between his library and the last 4 cards in his hand, like, there's a pretty good high chance that he was going to have 2 Supreme Wills. No, opponent doesn't have any. We have no cards left in our deck. We're milled out. A little unfortunate. If you're in the chat, ! deck list will get you to the deck list. If you look in the description below the Twitch stream, you'll find a link to the Twitter. On the Twitter, all the deck lists I play every time I go live are there, and a link to the YouTube's there. And if you're looking on the YouTube, everything, decks, descriptions, and decks, descriptions, and links to the Twitter and the Twitch are all below the video. So we'll play first. I really want to put these approaches in the sideboard, but I don't have any card I want to cut out of my sideboard is the problem. Well, this hand's just terrible. I don't really want to go to 5. And we only need to get 1 blue mana in like 3 draw steps to be able to play. Probably just going to keep it. Certainly don't want that card. Not when we're mana screwed. If we had even 1 of each color land, we would probably have kept that card. So definitely censor any 2-drop. I was supposed to have the stream set up today, but that did not work out. I don't really want to counterspell that, but I kind of feel like I have to. Seems like we're going to be paired versus some kind of a merge deck, which is something that I feel like we don't beat. Again, this deck really just wants to play versus the top 4 decks. You want to play versus your teamers, your black-greens, you want to play versus your red decks, and you want to play versus zombies. Kind of want the second approach, but don't feel like I can afford to take it. At least Emrakul's not legal, right? I wonder if there'd be any other deck besides what he's playing if Emrakul was legal. Might actually need this approach now, and we have a bunch of lands, so we'll take this one. Sure. I think you need one more mana to do the one that I think that you were trying to do, but I don't think red is useless now. I think red's still the best deck in the format by a pretty large margin. Like, I don't even think it's really that close. I mean, yeah, sure, it's fine. Don't care about this card. Not super happy about it, but don't care about it. You become considerably less now, or worse now. I think red's still the best deck by a lot, man. 3 of them top 8 at the last Grand Prix, with everybody in the room trying to beat them. That says a lot. It says a lot about how strong red is. Like, they claim zombies beats it, they claim Teamer beats it, they claim black green beats it, yet still 3 of them made the top 8. They claim the other 3 deck or the other 3 big decks all beat it, yet 3 of them still made top 8. That just says so much. Not sure what our opponent's really doing here. Like, we know he has another Deep Fiend. We'll just gain some life and figure out what happens later. Zombies is a good deck. I don't think it's more consistent. I think it has a lot of worse matches, too. Yeah, but the MTGO top decks, we're seeing 5 of them out of the, like, 40 that 5-0s or whatever. Like, we're not really seeing that many of them. It's just a random assortment. Don't care about you. Don't care about you. Go ahead and counterspell you. And put you on you. Putting on this one because it's more likely that he's going to want to sacrifice this one due to its mana cost and all that. There has been less red though. So he needs a counterspell or something. This matchup has to be miserable. Like, I can't be a favorite here at all. Don't think I can afford to cycle to cast out. Probably going to need it. Between the grapples and stuff, he can just keep buying that Deep Fiend back. Probably a decent amount. He's tapping 5 mana during his upkeep, and he's spending one of the hubs on red, though, so maybe there's Glorybringers in his deck, too. Or maybe there's not. Who knows? All I know is I've pressed F6 already. Yeah, so he didn't cast a Glorybringer, which means we're getting Deep Fiended again. Well, we're still not dead, are we? Still not dead, are we? Cast. Thank you. I had to cast it multiple times for it to work. Yeah, well, we have a Supreme Will. That might do something. I like Burn Within. Feels like it has some place. I'm probably just going to Supreme Will this, because if he pays for it, he won't be able to Deep Fiend. Is that right? Or he'll have to at least have a card in his hand to Deep Fiend it? Yep, so he at least has a third Deep Fiend. That's pretty strong considering that he's not really searched for one or found one of any search spell that we've saw. And now we are dead on board, right? We have to actually hit now. Well, we hit something. Alright, not dead on board and opponent's down to one card. That's always fun. I think Mono Red's still the best deck in the format. It's got some hard matches and the games are very tough, but I do still think it's the best deck in the format. If opponent plays his fourth Deep Fiend, we're obviously dead, but like, if he's got his fourth Deep Fiend in his top 29 cards, that's pretty bad for us. It's pretty unlucky for us as well. Well, it's not the fourth Deep Fiend. Alright, so we win. I don't know how we're supposed to win game 2 or 3, but we won this game. So we beat 4 Eldrazi Deep Fiends because we killed one of them, didn't we? Yeah, we killed one with a Fumigate. No, we just beat 3. My bad. But we beat 3! Woo! Kinda actually feel like the cats are okay here. Feel like our opponent's gonna sideboard out till his Kozilek's returns a decent amount. Oh, yeah, this card seems pretty good here. These don't seem particularly good here. Meltdowns and the Gideon don't seem great here either. Guess the cats don't actually seem good. And the gates don't actually seem that good either. You gain life and you block twice. We choose you. If he leaves his Kozilek's returns in, probably have to sideboard out all 5 of my creatures. But like, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to win with an approach when he's got this much card draw and will be able to find, you know, X amount of negates or whatever. Hand's fine, nothing special. It's like very medium. If his hand's slow, it'll be fine. If his hand's fast, we'll probably get buried before we can really do much. Yeah, Bristling Hydra's good. I've heard some people claim that there should only be 3 in that deck, and those people are lunatics. I shouldn't say lunatics, but those people can't be right. Kind of want to keep this card. I think this card's actually good in this match. So we're getting Rogue Refined. Cool. Our opponent sent a message. I guess that's worth counterspelling. I don't really know. Lead with this one. I think being able to glimmer is more important. Being able to glimmer and or cast out seems more important than just supreme willing. Gideon has been absolutely great. Gideon has been so very good. I'm actually considering a second Gideon. It's the card that I seem like I was most resistant to ever even trying, and it's the card that's one of the cards I've probably been wrongest about. I was on lunch. Rip. I was hoping to get an untapped land there, but don't have to have it, so I guess that's fine. We'll go ahead and slam the cast out. I'm not going to Supreme Will anything anyway. The only thing I would Supreme Will is an Elder Deep Fiend, and the cast out kind of hurts that. I kind of want to move both authorities to the sideboard. That's what I want to do anyway. You shouldn't hear a microwave at my house. There's definitely none of that going on at my house. Alright, so he left things like... He left Swelter, he brought in Sweltering Suns, so we can take the cats out going forward. Opponent keeps playing a bunch of spells that are probably going to kill me. I don't appreciate that, opponent. Kinda want to play this. I probably just need to play this. But playing this doesn't seem like it does anything either. Could play this on this. That saves us some damage, but I don't know if it does anything. No. Torrential Gearhulk is a card that may get cut completely. This is definitely a higher chance that Torrential Gearhulk gets completely cut than moved to the sideboard. Have not been a fan of the Gearhulk. I'm actually only playing one of them today. One of the Gearhulks today is a Sphinx in today's build. I'm guessing the opponent's going to cast a Deep Fiend now. Which, if he is, he played into the Supreme Will. Kind of interesting that he let me draw a card. Huh. Well, we know he has a Deep Fiend in his hand. I don't mind drawing an extra card here. Ooh, that's a good one. I don't think there is a single card that you can add to make the Reanimator a reasonable match, and I think adding any cards to try to beat Reanimator is exceptionally wrong. I think you're just willing to accept that loss every time. There is things you can do to help ramp, like putting Scavenging Grounds or Crooks of Condemnation or anything in your sideboard to beat Reanimator doesn't beat Reanimator. That's not why you lose to Reanimator. Could care less about those spells. Alright, so we're just going to jam the cast out here and stop him from drawing a card. And we're going to hopefully have enough mana left over to Fumigate. Reanimator's a bad match. Any deck like Blue-White Monument that has like just a very fast clock with a lot of counter spells is a bad match, and Ramp's a bad match because like even if you have enough counter spells to counterspell every single ramp spell, they still play 25 or 26 lands, and some of those lands are Shrines of the Forsaken. So like if they just hit their land drops, they're killing your lands. The big thing is on all of the decks I just mentioned, your sideboard plan doesn't beat them. Like you can't beat them with the approach, and you also can't beat them with your creatures. And that's the problem. Well, we drew another approach, but he's obviously not going to let us use it. And we missed the land that we wanted as well. Yeah, so he's going to tap a bunch of stuff. Oh, wow, he left us with a lot of land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, well, we'll just see if we can hit our 7th land and win then. Apparently I have to use a blue mana. Wow, we didn't hit our 7th land. So take the Glimmer. Still have one more draw step to find it. Seventh land? Not a 7th land. It's better to attack before I Fumigate, because even if I lose these two, I'm gaining the extra 2 life, so I gain 2 life in the process of doing that. I guess we'll cast a Fumigate over to Descend. Within the line, opponent resolves second approach. Nothing happens. No. The game doesn't end at that point. Alright, so opponent just scooped. That was odd. He's got 7 cards in his hand. I don't know why he would scoop. Anyway, throw out the little spiel here. You know, you can type exclamation mark deck list in chat to see the deck list if you want. Also, if you're in the Twitch chat, you can look down below in the links, and you'll see a link to my Twitter. On my Twitter, all the deck lists every time I go live's there, and a link to the YouTube's there. If you're watching from the YouTube, in the description below, there's a link to the Twitter, the Twitch, and the deck list. Anyway, so back to the things I want to do to this deck. I would like to move these 2 authorities to the main, or to the sideboard, but I have absolutely no idea how to get them there. I'm starting to think that I want a 4th Rivulet, which is pretty easy. You just swap a Swamp for it, or swap a Cataract for it. Besides that, I'm pretty happy with the rest of the main deck. These two cards are the only cards that I'm not completely happy with. And the only reason that they're currently still in the main deck is I have no idea what to cut from my sideboard. Like, I definitely don't want to shave any of these cards at all. So when it comes to the sideboard, I have like 3 spots that I'm not absolutely positive about, and the Dismissal has been pretty good, and the Gearhulk's been medium, and the Sphinx has been bad, but like, so maybe I could swap one Authority for one Sphinx, but I think I'd rather have another Gearhulk. It's just kind of odd. Like, I want a 17 card sideboard. Yes. As far as I know, unless I don't understand the rules, then that is correct. But maybe I don't understand the rules. Who knows? The Blue Deserts do a number of things. One, when you're playing versus the very like grindy Reanimator decks or the very grindy blue-red decks, it's pretty hard for them to kill you. So like, you're actually playing a game where they're self-milling themselves a lot with their card draw spells, and that your Rivulets can actually just win the game. Beyond that, beyond that, they also, with conjunction with any of your card draw spells, like your Supreme Will, your Glimmer, your Hieroglyph, one Rivulet plus any of those cards will let you get to your approach by giving your opponent only one additional turn, as opposed to possibly needing multiple additional turns otherwise. So they like help you get to your approach a little quicker too. And in mirror matches, you can set up situations where like your opponent's resolved an approach, you know their approach is 3 cards down, you pop a Rivulet to get rid of their approach. But yeah, it's basically no cost for a little upside. I've been playing the Rivulets now for probably about 2 weeks, and they've probably done less than 6 damage to me total. They've not really seemed that bad either when it comes to denying me untapped lands. It's come up once or twice, but they've won me so many more games than that. The 4 for 40 may seem bad, and that is one of the things I could do. Eric Froelich only had 3. I believe Paul Rietzel only had 3. But when we first built this deck, there was a mono red deck that was super popular. It was like 40% of the field, and I kind of overloaded. But that being said, now that mono red's not 40% of the field, it might be safe to cut one. It looks like we're playing probably versus another mirror. This mirror is absolutely horrible, by the way, and I need to actually, if the mirror is going to be this popular, because this would be the 3rd time we played it in 4 matches, if this does turn out to be the mirror. But so if this is the 3rd time in 4 matches, we have to find some way to beat this deck. Kind of want to watch that. That video sounds good. Just looking for lands, nothing else. Blind put any card that's not a land on the bottom. So an approach goes to the bottom and 2 of our draw 2s go to the bottom, which is very bad for us. Just very bad for us. It's going to be very hard for us to win this game. He actually has card draw spells, and we're having to use our counter spells to find our lands. There goes the Gideon to the bottom. Kind of wish we could keep the Gideon, but as of right now, the first priority is just getting the 7 land drops. I have no idea. Don't watch Saffron Olive's videos. Can afford to take the Glimmer this time. Putting the Rivulet on the bottom's kind of sad, but we'll see if we can find a sensor in a land here, but we're taking a land no matter what, if we see one. We may actually need this. We're going to gamble a little bit. We have 2 draw steps to hit a land. Gosh. I think we'd rather hit our land than we'd rather counterspell that. So one of the problems of this match is if they just draw 2 approaches, you can't win. Because you have to cast your approach. Like, I can't not cast this spell. Zombies. The fumigates aren't enough to beat the zombies. Unfortunately. This is the slowest tapping of mana that I've ever saw. Oh, it's just a Dovin Bond? We don't care about a Dovin Bond. Yeah, Dovin Bond's a good spell, but we don't care about it. Do not play Dovin Bond in your deck if you play this deck. Just a hint I'll give. Alright, so we've already gone through 3 of our counter spells. By the time he gets back to his approach, he'll have 2 more mana, so even if we find our 3rd counter spell, we can't win. So basically, if he has a Supreme Will, we lose, and we know that. So we're willing just to play this into a Supreme Will and concede. He's gone through 18 cards and not played a Supreme Will, so we expect him to have it, but like we don't have any other chance to win this game. It may have seemed like a bit of a premature concession, but like that game was over. Could have played it out for the stream. I don't think Zombies is dead. Zombies just top 8 at the last Grand Prix, number 1 in Swiss. Like, I think Zombies is still fine. I run into it a fair amount on Moto. Haven't ran into it the last 2 days. Maybe it died in the last 2 days. Who knows? But I think Zombies is pretty popular. But it is basically just for zombies. It also is good versus like some of the more off the wall decks. Like it's good versus God Pharaoh's Gift. It's good versus the stupid horse decks. It's fine versus black white tokens. But what, did I not cut the meltdowns? Oh no, I cut the meltdowns. You had me worried for a second. Alright, so this hand's great. Needs about 1,000 more lands, but other than that, it's everything we want. I'm truly starting to believe this deck's the best deck in the format. Even though all the conventional science says mono red still is. Do not play Evolving Wilds in this deck either. Just do not play this card in this deck. You want to play the least number of come into play tap lands as you can. You do not want to add extra come into play tap lands. I did not. I try not to watch him as well. I'm not I don't like to watch Bruise a whole lot. He's a fine player. I'm just not really into Bruise. Kinda hope we hit 2 lands with this somehow. Guess we should just hope it resolves. Don't like counterspelling this from him. Sure. So now we have like this weird, awkward game where, because of his counterspell, we're both going to be playing main phase card draw spells, which I don't think is any place that you ever want to be. He could have just not cast that Censor. He could have had it for my other thing here. Alright, we're going to keep both of these. Yeah, I don't have anything against these people. It's just I'm not into brews, so like the guys are fine or whatever. Like I don't have anything against them. It's just not what I enjoy. I'm kind of a net deck type of guy. Which is why you rarely see me do anything original. Well, not necessarily a net deck, but like net deck and archetype and then like tune it. That's more like what I want to do. Like I'm Michael Jacobs' biggest fan, so I do kind of like what he does. Like I just like to look at decks, try to evaluate them, and then try to improve them. I'm not a whole big not big into trying to originate the decks myself. Like Michael Jacobs, one of the best tuners in the game of Magic. Wouldn't mind to draw a Supreme Will. That's not a Supreme Will. So I can like play this cat and pretend I have a Supreme Will. He needs to have hit a land. He could easily have the approach. We have 8 mana. We're just gonna pass and hold up the summary dismissal. Alright, well, let's start with the Glimmer. Don't want you. Don't want you. Alright, well, those cards suck. We're going to at least counterspell this. Unfortunately, unlike Eldrazi and stuff like that, using the summary dismissal does not take away they've cast this spell, but it does take away the fact that they may redraw it. Kind of want another authority. For this particular match, I kept 3, but it's less because I think they're good and more because I have nothing else to sideboard out. Like, I don't want 3 here. I would want 2 at most, and I don't even think I would want 2. But this was a more of a necessity thing. We have to cast it. There's no reason not to. Like, if he just has another approach, he just has another approach. If he's using a Supreme Will on this, that's fine. He probably has another counterspell if he's doing that. And he's just trying to tap me out. But there's some chance that he doesn't have another counterspell. Oh no, he used it to impulse. I guess I should have looked up there. Well, that's kind of cool. Hope he counterspells this then. He's using another impulse. My bad, I thought he was counterspelling this. Go, little Gideon. We get an emblem that says you can't kill us next turn. Not even with your bestest of draw. Go, go, little Gideon. Probably won't be able to resolve our other approach, though. We have no counter spells in our hand. We have very few counter spells in our deck. Like, we need to retool the entire sideboard to beat mirrors. Like, they have cast outs. Like that. They have cast outs. Hopefully we can draw our own cast out. Alright, we'll start with cycling a sensor and see what we find. Alright, since we drew a card draw spell, we won't play to approach this turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can pay for Supreme Will next turn. That's unfortunate. And they have another 40. They just beat us to 40 both games. They'll definitely have a counter spell too. They wouldn't do this without some kind of counter spell. And we didn't hit anyway. Alright, well, that's game. So we've lost our last 3 mirrors. Pop up the deck list. If you're in chat, you can do what Ray did. Type !! deck list to see the deck list. And whether you're into YouTube or the Twitter, you can always go to the links below to find the things as well. Alright, we'll play first. Hand's good. Gonna have to hit a second white source probably at some point, and obviously a bunch more land drops, but the hand is good. Oh, another blue-white land. That's probably not good for us. Thank you for following, Begaller of Williams, Lester189. Apparently I got an email from Wizards as well about my customer support request. I'd like to point out that they did not answer my question at all, but that's beside the point. They gave me enough clues that I was able to find my own answer. Again, if they're playing the mirror, you don't want to play cards like this. Your mana's not bad, and you do not want come into play tap lands. They may not be playing the mirror. I'm just making that general comment. We'll take the land because we don't want any of those other cards at all. Like, he could be playing some kind of other deck. I'm not saying he's playing the mirror. It's just you're just so unlikely to win the game with damage. Like, all they have to do is play an approach. They get an extra draw step. It's just weird. I don't like counterspelling card draw spells. I don't think that's where you really ever want to be. Especially in a game that's going to be long and drawn out. Like, I don't even want to sideboard those cats in. I think that's how unlikely you are to win with them. It's just, I don't have anything else in my sideboard right now. So this is the 4th blue-white match out of the last 5 we've played versus. Sure, they're using another counterspell and another card draw. Just don't think that gets anywhere at all. I'd have to go back and look at the game as well. Opponent was first one to, I guess, not use the Supreme Will first. See if we find a Censor first in the end. Whoever casts the first approach typically wins these games. Bottom. It's worth counterspelling because I have to tap out anyway. You just can't not tap out. And if he has a second approach, we're dead. If he doesn't have a second approach, we're not in the best shape. So 7 cards down. 6 cards down. 5 cards down. They have hard counter spells, so we're screwed. Not going to beat an opponent who has hard counter spells. Cards like this are obviously better in like the mirror match, but they're worse versus literally every other match in the format. So unless you expect to play crap tons in a mirror, you don't want to play cards like this in your main deck. Draw or approach. It doesn't really get better. You can't play around things, and every turn that I'm not trying to cast this spell is a turn that they can just untap and win. Okay. If they're pulling for tomorrow from 1, does that mean they also have main deck negate? But like I said, like holding the approach there, just it doesn't get better for us. We have no hard counter spells. We're never going to be able to protect it. The best thing we can do is bluff and hope that they don't play their own approach. But like, you should just play their approach. So this card doesn't do nothing here. I'll have to go back and look at the game, man. To be honest, I can't even remember that. Well, why won't you guys go out of the deck? There you go. Don't want to fumigate. But it's better than the Linvalas, I think. I don't want to tap a 6 mana spell, basically. Yeah, I believe so. This hand's not great, but we have 2 lands, a cycler, and we have an approach, and we have multiple turns to get to a blue mana, and if we do get to a blue mana, the hand turns on pretty good. The Fumigate was already like a mulligan, but I think the rest of the hand's good enough that it's worth keeping. Yep, absolutely agree. Don't think it's ever right to counterspell those spells. Hey, we got to the blue mana. If they miss a land drop or something, you can counterspell those spells, but if you've not saw them miss a land drop, like, you don't want to, and even if they do miss a land drop, like, the game's going to take 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 turns, like, you're not going to screw them. Like, I've had an opponent or two that's like mulligan to 5, and then I like went and tried to counterspell every draw spell they played, but like, that's not even been that great. It's just been okay. Probably won't cycle either spell here. Actually, I think I will cycle the Censor just because we only have 1 blue mana. If I had 2 blue mana, I don't think I would do that. There'd be another time and or better time to do it. I have to discard a card, but actually want both of those. As awkward as that is. It would have to be in the sideboard, and then I still don't think it's that great because like neither of us are sideboarding out our 4 cast outs, so like you might get to draw 1 or 2 cards, but it's not going to win the game. Like just more little Gideons might be what you want to try to win the mirror. You may just want like all the little Gideons to win the mirror, and a little Gideon's something. If we ever do cut the 2 of 40s from the main, the cards that I'm most likely to add to the main is a second little Gideon and a stasis snare, a second little Gideon and a land, or a second little Gideon and another approach. But like, if I wanted a card for just the mirror, it's probably little Gideon. That's not bad versus other cards, at least main deck wise. So I want both of those. Drawing the second approach is kind of nice. Let's see if he uses a counterspell on this. He did not use a counterspell on that. Which is kind of nice. Could have a Censor, you could have a Negate, but I think the little Gideon's worth trying to save. Next turn, we're going to be casting an approach anyway, so. Yeah, the little Gideons would be my go-to main deck card. I don't know what I would do sideboard wise, but that would be my main deck for the go-to for the main deck. Yeah, so they got an approach off. We get to attack this turn. That's kind of cute. And we get our own approach off. Attacking doesn't really do anything, but it might have been worth it just to keep on ticking him up to try to get him out of like torrential Gearhulk range or something. Probably is, to be honest. Do you like the fact that we have a cast out? Cast out was a pretty good draw here. We cast out his cast out, which is nice. I don't like how our opponent played this game. But yeah. See, Little Gideon's the card I would go to try to win this match. He can attack. he slices, dices, and wins games, folks. It actually makes you play this kind of like a weird game too, because like he might have been holding up double dispel or something on that spot to try to get around a couple counters, but like the spell doesn't even work on cast out. And he can win games. Like if we're trying to play this big control route, like the guy can just attack. Anyway, onward to try to win a pity chest. Somebody didn't like how I said pity, so I have to say pity now and try to really emphasize it. Anyway, so exclamation mark deck list and all that. Other cards I would like to try. Somebody that's been talking to me on Facebook has been talking about Essence Scatter. From the outside looking in, I don't really like the idea of Essence Scatter. I think it's too often a dead card, and I don't want any card in my deck to be a quote-unquote dead card other than creature removal. Like if our opponents don't have creatures, obviously creature removal, but like there is the possibility that Essence Scatter is good enough beyond that. It's pretty easy to take clips. What am I trying? Or I guess I can't pull up the Twitch chat, but I don't know if you're on a phone or whatever, Jordan. But let me accept yes to our opponent real quick. Let me open random person that I follow. I'll just click on Shroud or whatever. Just random person. Mute it for a second, but like down here you can use this little button here to make clips. Anyway, so we play first. The hand's good but slow. If they're on mono red, this will probably be a hard game to win. If they're on Teamer, if they're on Teamer, Zombies, or Black Green, we'll probably win as long as we hit a land drop in our top like 3 draws. Which plays around double negate. I mean, plays around a double dispel. That's what I was trying to say. Alright, so it's an Effort Hub. Almost every deck with an Effort Hub besides God Pharaoh's Gift is something we're very happy about, and we're very happy to play versus any deck that has a Tuned Aether in it. Unfortunately, our draw's a little anemic. We're probably going to have to cycle something during our next turn. We'll probably censor anything he plays during this turn. Or you could just not play anything. Alright. Start by cycling the cast out. And we hit a land right off the top, so we're going to hold on to the Illumination because if we hit another land, we would have saved it. Playing this a 40's not the greatest, but it does gain us a little bit of life. Stroke? I'm sorry, I don't understand that. Oh yeah, Xbox, that's fair. That's why you hold up your cell phone and do it, man. Alright, well, we will cycle this thing now. And we will cycle this thing now. Okay, cool, we hit a land. Hand's pretty turned on now that we hit the extra land. I mean, he's real Jordan, isn't he? Who's fake Jordan? I don't want to disregard it. I just didn't understand it, man. I'm sorry. I'm not a real smart guy. Anybody who's watched my stream a lot realizes I'm not a smart guy. Don't want you. Do want you. Ooh. Don't mind having a sensor there. Not going to cast Fumigate on this turn. We can get more out of it, and what he's got there is only going to put us at 18 on the next attack. We still have the Glimmer. And Glimmers bring all the boys to the yard. Probably would censor a Skyship if he had it. May not, though. May not even play the Glimmer. Alright, don't care about that. They have main deck Negate, they're going to get us pretty good. Alright, just in case they have main deck Negate, I guess we'll go ahead and cycle a Glimmer out of here. Probably look for a second Fumigate. We have all the lands that we want. Pretty happy to see those. No main deck Negate, please. Hey, no main deck Negate. I feel like the Fonzie. I just want to put my hands up and just let go. Whee! Come on. Christian's not been around for months. Well, he was there Friday, but before that he hadn't been around for months. Is Scuttle to Wreckage the 4-mana one? Because if so, I do not think that is your answer. In fact, I don't know what your answer is yet to that question. We'll have to see more of the spoiler, but it needs to be 2 mana. The thing is, it really, really needs to be a 2-mana spell. Unless the format slows down a considerable amount. The format slows down a lot, like it can be a non-2-mana spell. Alright, so 7 cards down is Payday. Which means our opponent gets this attack step and 1 more attack step, and we have a Blessed Alliance. They only have 3 cards in their hand, too. So now we're 6 cards down. Like how we can get it without even sacking the Rivulet now. So we could Blessed Alliance here, but our life total is high enough that it's not worth it, and even if he has a negate, we're not even close to dead, so... Start with this thing. And we'll have to see. It could be good, but like it's gonna have to be at least a 2 mana to replace this card. Like it can make the deck, just not over the Blessed Alliance itself. Oh my. Opponent had an Elder Deep Fiend. We have been got, friends. I guess we'll keep this one just in case. That he has main deck negate somehow. All the Life Star belong to us. Blessed Alliance is exceptionally powerful. We have to see what all gets printed though. Like, Like maybe Effer Meltdown will just be enough if like there's not a there's not a lot of bristling hydras and things. Maybe Meltdown will just be enough. Maybe more Gideons and Meltdown will be enough. Maybe there'll be another similar card to like Stasis Snare or Immolating Glare. Maybe we can use something like that. We'll just have to see what gets printed. In this match, I pretty well usually just bring in these 6 creatures and pray to God that they don't have 2 negates, which feels like pretty loose. This is typically what I do here. Paul Rietzel left the 40s of the Council in post board. At least one of them post board on the Grand Prix coverage of Denver, I guess. But I think it was Denver. But I really don't. I like the idea of them, and I kind of want them, but I don't know what to sideboard out of them. Yeah. Glacial Fortress is pretty nice. That reminds me, at some point today, let me write myself a notepad. Check M10 lands. I need to check which ones that I already own and which ones I don't. To pop myself up a little reminder, because that's not something I'm going to remember, and as soon as this match is over, I'm going to go do a small workout. I am a very obese man, but I have recently made the decision to try to better myself. Well, not better myself per se, but better my health. Really sad that we're not able to go to Washington, D.C. this weekend. Really would like to play Washington, D.C. I'm absolutely loving this deck. I think this deck is very good. Would counterspell anything this Censor can technically counterspell. Even that. That card is actually pretty good versus us. Vehicles in general are pretty good versus us. Can't afford to miss a land drop, so unless we hit a land, we'll have to do some cycling. Luckily, we hit a land. I mean, it's going to take a lot. Remember, I'm a 400-pound obese man. Like, right now, I can only walk for about 5 minutes, only do about 50 of my arm exercises or whatever, but we'll get there in time. 2 years later, I'll be in shape, hopefully. Knock on wood. Alright, well, this gives us something that we can use this versus, while still being able to cycle the cast out. I used to liken myself to Jabba the Hutt with a neckbeard, but we don't have the neckbeard anymore. Now we're just Jabba the Hutt. That was unfortunate. So if this rivulet was an island, this is one of those situations that would have been a lot better for us. Yeah, it's going to take a long time, but I don't have anything else to do, so might as well be dedicated to it. Go ahead and melt down this one. I'll take the 2 damage this turn. We are getting in worse and worse shape, though. Missing these land drops is pretty brutal, because it makes us keep having to tap our mana, which lets him not even have to fear anything. Yeah, anytime that I'm off stream, I play competitive leagues. I only play friendly leagues on stream because, one, I want to play 5 full matches when I'm on stream. I don't want to like have a bad day and go like 1-3 and like just drop. I feel like that's cheating the stream or whatever. And B, where I'm like talking to people and I'm less focused, I play considerably worse than when I play on stream or off stream. Like, I play a lot worse off stream, or a lot better on stream. I mean, wait, I play a lot better off stream. I'll spit it out. We'll get there, fam. Kind of just looking for him to counterspell this with a negate. 80 pounds is a lot, man. That's really that's a big game. Like that is a lot of weight. It's actually pretty impressive. I guess we're just gonna slam a Limvala. Gives us 5 life and a minimum of a second blocker. And doesn't lose to Elder Deep Fiend. But if he had an Elder Deep Fiend, he would have probably used it during our upkeep. Because we're dead on board if he had an Elder Deep Fiend. I imagine if he had it, he would have already used it. But I'd rather play safe than sorry. Alright, no Deep Fiend. We got a small little life cushion to try to resolve the approach. He also didn't use a Harness Lightning or anything at the end of his last turn, so. Don't care if he kills my guys. My guys are really just here as fogs anyway, so they more than did their job. They get a card out of his hand, they did so much more than their job. He could just be trying to play a Big Chandra, which would suck. But like, Big Chandra's going to be good versus this no matter what. Exclamation mark deck list in chat. Should be a clickable link. I can give you just a picture if you'd prefer as well. Yeah, my friend told me I should do something like turn this stream into like a 365 stream where I lose like 65 pounds over the course of it, but I don't know about all that. That seemed like a little bit much for me. Alright, well, at least we get to kill this. Unfortunately, we lose a lot of our stuff in the process. But I think we have to go ahead and try to kill that. No problem, man. Thanks for stopping by and watching. So you can give this 2 counters and this 1 counter and just like eat both of those for 3, or you can like trade this into this and eat this, or sorry, eat this and trade this into this. But yeah, he's got multiple options. He took about the one that I would probably have taken the least. That's still a pretty good chunk of life that we gained. And he doesn't have very good attacks. I'm normally a best deck type of guy. I normally play whatever deck I think is best. And I actually think this is the best deck in the format at the current time. Again, I say on stream a lot that Red Deck Wins is the best deck in the format, and that's just because it probably is, and I'm probably being delusional. But, yeah. Like, I think this deck's incredibly strong. As for control, I tend to prefer more controlling or mid-range strategies, but I really just play anything that seems good. Also, like to sing and dance and sing little songs. So our opponent's already drawn 2 negates and a Chandra, and as anybody who's watched my stream may have noted before, I've made the comment multiple times that I feel like I lose most games that our opponent draws, or that our team or opponent draws multiple negates. So like he's probably got between 6 and 8 cards in his entire deck I care about, and he's drawn 3 of them already in his top 20, which is pretty good. But we're still in a fairly good spot. I feel like if he counterspelled that last approach, though, he probably has another negate. Alright, so we're going to gain the life. He's going to sacrifice a creature. Wait. Escalate 3 mode, sorry. We're going to gain to life. We're going to untap this, we're going to untap this, and he's going to sacrifice a creature. Probably not going to block with him, just this might make him do some kind of jump. Yep, told you I thought that he had another negate the way he was playing. Hopefully he doesn't have even another negate. The Rivers have been really good in this match. Or really good in this deck, the Rivulets. So we're kind of in this weird spot now where we don't really have good blocks anymore. We don't have good attacks either. But he's going through 3 negates now, so odds are he doesn't have another one. So like Fumigates and extra approaches and all of our draw 2s are all still good cards. We still have some time to get there. I think it's about time to start playing Pummeler again. We've not got paired versus red deck wins in quite a few leagues. So we can take out the Elder Deep Fiend forever and lose all of our things. Or we can just chump block them both and gain a bunch of life. I do use the Rivers on myself the majority of the time to get back to a second approach. Myself most often. Well, I guess I'm really just trying to stall. So if I'm just trying to stall, this stall's better. This also plays around a removal spell a little bit better because I could just get completely blown out if he had a removal spell. I'm not going to attack. A, this is not how we're trying to win the game, and B, if he does have the 4th negate, we still have a blocker if we don't attack. I should have played the land. Not playing the land there was a mistake. Yeah, well, that's a very good spell. It's a nice follow-up to that Fumigate. Oh, wow. Yeah, well, we need to draw another Fumigate. Or just an approach. We'll wait one turn to see if we draw a Fumigate. We get to gain the majority of that attack back anyway with the 5 points from the Linvala. So if we'd played it, we would have stayed at 18 and he wouldn't have attacked this turn, but... we lose a pretty good amount, but I think it's fine for one draw step. Still need to draw something. We're 34 cards deep into our deck, and we've saw 1 Fumigate so far, 0 Glimmers, 1 Approach. 1 Cat. Feel like we typically just need 1 more of those cards to go off. Could have just cast a Linvala last turn and, like, had a higher life total this turn. That was a little greedy of me, trying to find the Fumigate. Cat Scratch Fever. Just attacking with this. If he wants to trade off 3 copters for it, we consider that a win. This is the card that dies to Glorybringer anyway, attack-wise. He's back up to 4 cards in his hand, though. Really, we're just really hoping he doesn't have another negate. Ever, basically. But yeah, things got bad for us. We still have the 2 approaches. We didn't sideboard them out. We basically really need to dodge the 4th negate. Drawing something that's not a land at some point wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. He did have 3 negates in like the top X amount of his cards. Was this he's just casting Deep Fiend and we're probably dead? So he's a multiple Deep Fiend deck. We're not dead on board. Not being dead on board's better than being dead. He's got a removal spell, we're dead? Alright, well, you're the bigger one. Go down to 3 like this. He probably should have sacked that clue before he attacked. Alright. We found 14 of our lands in our top 30 cards, which isn't that unlucky. I don't know, he definitely should have sacked that clue. So we have one more draw step at the best case scenario. That's the very best case scenario. We may have none. There's a lot of cards that give us no more draw steps. Glorybringer kills us. Yeah, Glorybringer kills us. He has to go for it, though. He may not. Alright, he did. And we're dead. Might as well look at a few more of his cards. So even if we block this, and then block that and that, we go to 5 and we're taking 2, 3, 4, 5. We didn't get any more information. Let's press F6 and die. Oh, onward to the next game. I really do want to try these Authority of the Councils. This seemed like such mediocre draws, though. I'm just going to run it back. I still like this configuration. Feel like we were like 1 card away from winning that game for a lot of it. We were mana screwed for a good portion of that game, though. Having to use card draw spells to try to hit our land drops on our turn, which put us pretty far behind. This hand's pretty fine. We're gonna have to hit about 1,000,000 lands. We've got to hit about a lot of things. This hand's actually fairly weak. Fine, fine was an overstatement. It's not bad though. It's just will it come together? Thank you for following Pinhero 1255. We'll pretend like that's how you pronounce that because I don't really know. That's the best card in their deck. Rip. It sucks to counterspell that, but A, they could be mana screwed, and B, it makes our sensors worse anyway if it does resolve. That's fair, but I mean, in the same sense of the word, like a just drawing a glimmer would have been sweet last game. Land? Not a land. Well, so we're back in this type of scenario. Hopefully they don't have a negate, but even if they do, it kind of time walks them unless they have a second. Untap land would be good for us. Not an untap land, so again, just like last game, we're missing land drops and having to tap out during our turn, which in turn pretty close to kills us. Him just getting all these free turns where he doesn't have to worry about us is just so huge for his deck. Yeah, well, we get to cast a cat next turn. No, it comes into play when Ixalan gets released. It is not a thing yet. This play is extremely bad versus both Chandra and Glorybringer. Meh. Still the best play I have. This play is real bad versus both Chandra and Glorybringer, though. Well, that was not Chandra and Glorybringer, so. I'm going to throw all of these in front of it. I don't care if he has a removal spell or whatever to save this dude. The upside of being able to kill it's way too strong. Him not having a second one of those would be wonderful. Not an untapped land. Well, that's disappointing. That was disappointing. Meh. Don't want to take any damage. And I don't want to just cast an Effort Meltdown on this turn. Fumigate and or Land would be a good draw. And that's neither of those spells. You'll be able to have like both types of Gideon in play and stuff going forward. So you'll be able to have like the 3-mana Gideon and the 4-mana Gideon both in play. Well, prevent as much damage as we can. I guess we could have took 1 point of damage here so that we could have played a Linvala, but I don't really want to play the Linvala. Like, we're following super far behind, and our opponent's obviously going to have some kind of negates or something because he's not just flooding the board. I would say this game's over. I'd be surprised if this game wasn't over. Let's put it that way. I would be shocked if this game isn't over. Yeah, he's not attacking if the Lumbering falls. He definitely has spells. Oh, well, it happens sometimes. You miss like a million land drops and you just don't even get to play. And now we finally hit a land when it doesn't matter that we've hit the land. Apparently there is a restart required on my computer. Just in really bad shape right now. Confiscation Coup? That's a card. Baral's Expertise. Our opponent's playing some odd ones. They put the Elder Deep Fiend back in their hand as well. So we're just kind of dead here. Yeah, they have 16 damage. We're dead on board. Alright, well, we're not dead if we're doing it now. It's kind of odd that he let us draw a card to try to find a counterspell. Okay. Okay. Sure. So if they draw a Chandra, they win. They draw another Elder Deep Fiend, they basically win. They draw a Glorybringer, they're in great shape. They're 26 cards deep, 27 cards with the clue, so like them having negates is a guaranteed. It looks like they hit the Chandra. Nope, they hit the Glorybringer. Yeah, that beats us too, I guess. No, this attack's awkward. That attack seems awkward to me. Hmm. He just killed her two bigger threats on the ground. The Glorybringer probably has to die, right? Yeah, I think I'm fine with this. Untapped land would be nice. That's not an untapped land. I feel like I just need to get out of this turn to have a chance. Obviously, if they have a negate, we're screwed. They didn't use their energy, which is also odd. They could have got two more 1/1 flyers there. Oh, they have another Glorybringer? Oh, Chandra. That's even better. So they practically have to have a negate, right? Well, we're dead on board no matter what. We can play the Gideon and see if he counterspells it. And if he counterspells it, we can farmlands into a card to put on that. Or we can just play to approach and die if he has a counterspell. This one gives us more outs, I guess. Sure. Alright, well, we didn't get there. And we just couldn't really do anything because of the lands, but this match is exceptionally favorable for us. Anyway, I guess that's it for today. Thank you to all the new followers. We went 2-3 yet again today. We lost Amir. We lost Teamer. I don't even remember what we lost to the other match. What did we lose to? I don't remember what you were. Were you Amir as well? Yeah, you were Amir as well. So we lost to two mirrors today. Lost to two mirrors, beat one mirror, and beat beat Teamer, I think. I like how I can't even remember the matches I played. Yeah. No, we beat, Teamer, but the different kind of Teamer. Okay. Anyway, it was a fairly decent day. You're going to lose some of those matches versus Teamer. We have lost 2 out of the last 3 matches versus Teamer, which is a little unfortunate. Anyway, so for those follows on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube if you feel like it. And if you don't feel like it, that's on you. But I appreciate everybody stopping by. Let's see if we can find anybody to host. Simon Nilsson's playing StarCraft. We will not be hosting that. Just host a Candio. He's playing Sultai, Improvising Gifts. Not the biggest fan of any of those decks, but whatever. Appreciate you guys stopping by. I'll be back tomorrow. Or hope to be back tomorrow. Take care, everybody. See you guys. Well, shit. There's no E in it.